21st, 2024. I am at Joel Pearl, and I got Jeremy Lambert very well with that one. This is In the Weeds. It's Friday, baby. Let's get to work.
I thought something was happening in my headphones. I was like, what just happened? Why is it like I'm all for it, but I was like, why is this playing as part of our intro? Yeah, full disclosure. Look, it actually fits because I'm literally writing an article that'll be up on Fightful in, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes about Violent J and his hatred for CM Punk. So the diss track here works because what I just listened to with Violent J, not a fan of CM Punk.
Wow. CM Punk's going to come out tonight on SmackDown, face painted, giant bottle of Faygo. No one's going to know what's going on, but he's going to love every minute of it.
He's dissing CM Punk's mom too, man.
Oh, you can't go after CM Punk's mom. That's a sacred person.
CM Mama Punk.
The M in CM Punk actually stands for mother.
The CM stands for Cuddly Mother Punk.
That's what CM Punk's mom's name is, Cuddly Mother Punk. She's just, just wants to be part of her son's life in any way, shape, or form. I gotta watch that Violent J TED Talk.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Look, he actually gives. I don't know if people saw the Instagram post. I don't know if people saw it. It was a couple days ago from Violent J of ICP, where he goes off on Punk, and it dates back to 20 years in TNA with shaking hands and Colt Cabana and everything. Because Violent J makes it clear we're friends with Colt Cabana, so him dissing Colt Cabana, that didn't sit well. This, of course, was almost 2 years ago at this point when he dissed Colt Cabana. So it's something that happened a while ago. Their friendship fallout predates even that. Violent J was just like, I don't think about CM Punk like that. I actually don't have this big time hatred for him like that. It was literally, I was scrolling Instagram, this clip popped up. I was like, oh, this man said something mean about my friend. That doesn't sit well with me. Let me unload. And so he posted the message and he moved on with his life. Honestly, bless him.
Yeah,
I get it.
He just got the hate out. Listen, unlike us, we keep the hate. Jeremy, today it's Friday, but of course we can always do a little longer. So who knows? Maybe we'll get an overrun. Psst. I see dead people. We'll do it 5 times if we gotta.
Look at Joel. My God, he put some production value into this episode.
Had some time. Once our guest unfortunately was unable to join us, I found myself with an hour to kill. So my research time became memeing time.
We can go ahead and say that. Yeah, One Call Manders was supposed to join us. He messaged this morning, had something come up. Hopefully everything is okay there, and hopefully he'll join us next week. So apologies to those who are looking forward to us and our chat with One Call Manders at 10:30, but we'll try to get him on the show sometime next week. He's fantastic. He's been on Spotlight before, so we're looking forward to talking to him about Revolver. Revolver's coming up this weekend, but things happen, life happens. What can you do?
They're doing a big Cage of Horrors show, and on top of that, just to put it over, because we were going to anyway, Alex Shelley is going to be taking on Speedball Mike Bailey. It's a hell of a match in and of itself, but Manders was going to be in a triple threat in a cage. It was him, Matthew Justice, and was it Mance?
Yeah, Mance.
Yeah, okay. Because this is why I get
Fallout.
That's right. The Second Gear crew they're having their problems. It's not just Effie and Mance. It's Mance against the world at this point. Yeah. But either way, they were going to do that triple threat. They're still doing it. That's still the plan. We were going to talk to Manders about that and a bunch of other stuff. But hopefully we'll get him back, Manders, very shortly. But we wish him well. Hopefully everything's good. And instead, we're going to have our pal Zach from Love Wrestling join us with a very fun little special announcement for those who are going to be in Toronto at Money in the Bank. We got some stuff that y'all can be a part of, and some incentive to join us in Toronto. So Jeremy's gonna drive all the way in, right? That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna come in Toronto. Yeah, that's planned. 2 weeks away.
Am I getting bullied into this? I think my passport is legitimately right here. Let me see.
Let's see if it's expired. there seems to be an epidemic going on where all of my friends in wrestling media seem to have expired passports at the time when a Toronto show comes around.
Yeah, no one wants to hang out with you, Joel.
That's fair. I get it. I would too.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in there.
There you go. Love Wrestling's popping in saying we're actually picking Jeremy up. It's part of the pub crawl.
Oh, I mean, if I got service like that, that's cool.
Listen, everybody who's doing the crawl, bring your passports.
All right, I found it.
Drive over. Let's take a look. This is the content y'all wait for.
Where does it say where it expires at?
Your photo in the bottom corner, one of the corners, it should be there.
Yeah, sure. Oh, here we go.
Issue date and an expiry date, and they're usually about same date, just 10 years apart or something.
It looks like, oh wait, date of expiration. No, that would be date of issue because date of expiration is under it, right?
Date of expiration is under.
Date issued June 2016. Date expiration June 2026. So technically not expired. Oh man, that
no excuses, buddy.
The fact that I don't have to do extra work to get like the passport renewed and stuff makes me. It's in like 2 weeks though.
Yeah, it's in 2 weeks, but you got a place to stay. And you got to.
Okay, I have a place to stay. I don't have a ticket to SummerSlam.
Well, first of all, SummerSlam's in Cleveland.
Oh, right. I don't have a ticket to SummerSlam either. But I don't have a ticket to Money in the Bank.
I'm sure we can get you one. And if not, you can just hang out with the Love Wrestling crew. They'll be watching the show at the Rec Room nearby. And also, you got the Hockey Hall of Fame. You can skip Money in the Bank altogether and just go do that.
My wife is watching this show. I don't tell her about like any of my travel plans because I don't make any travel plans unless I'm just like on air and then it just comes out. She's about to message me like, guess you're going to SummerSlam or guess you're going to Money in the Bank, Toronto, huh?
We've established y'all are already going to SummerSlam. That's fine. That's expected. That's planned. Now you got to figure out the Toronto part. 27 kids. Do you have 27 extra passports?
No.
All right. Well, then it's just
all right. So hold on. Like, yeah, she just messaged. I literally asked you 3 days ago if you were going. That's true because we were trying to like figure stuff out. And I was like, I don't think so. It hasn't been brought up. And I'm the type of person like, if it's not brought up, I don't think about it. Now that you're bringing it up, I'm like, oh, all right, I'm thinking about it. And now I'm like, all right, well, my passport's fine. I got a place to stay. I'll figure out the rest, I guess. Like the two biggest issues are kind of taken care of, I guess.
Kind of. Hell, I got a parking spot for you too.
I feel like I'm going.
Chat, bully him. But we've already bullied our guest enough times in the past. We'll let him come in without the bullying, maybe. Limp Bizkit connoisseur from Love Wrestling, Zach joins us now.
Limp Bizkit connoisseur. I appreciate that. I should change my little subtitle from Money in the Drink pub crawl to Limp Bizkit connoisseur.
Could you? Also, two things. First of all, are you drinking something nefarious in that mug this morning because it is a pub crawl?
No, I'm enjoying just a humble cup of coffee. I'm actually, I haven't been feeling well the past couple of days. I'm finally on the mend. Even last night, we did Quizplex, and usually I have a good time. I have several cans of good time during such a broadcast, but I took it easy, and I'm going to continue to do so for another little bit.
Well, second of all, you also get the unenviable task of listening to me do the shilling for a second. Hey, leave a thumbs up on the video if you haven't already, and subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked. Donate a super chat, any amount, get your question or statement read on the air, and the fireworks are coming, so clearly it's time to have a conversation. Zach.
Hello.
Zach, let's have a drink. Let's have a drink.
Dude. Let's have a drink. Let's get several drinks, in fact, when I come to Toronto. As you know, we've been putting together the pub crawl. You guys have been affording me ample time in recent weeks here on In the Weeds to talk about it, and I really appreciate that. And I'm finally showing up to your show with actual concrete news, as we are 2 weeks away from the pub crawl itself, and I'm so excited to finally share it, and relieved to finally share it. In fact,
I'm very excited to hear it.
Yeah. In fact, Joel, I've sent you a few assets. If you don't mind putting up page one, I would like to do the official.
We got a PowerPoint presentation here?
Yeah. Like so listen, the guy who used to do it was a real dickhead, so Zach took it over, and he's going to do a million times better.
I mean, I am for hire if anyone needs PowerPoints for their streams. But that to say, I am here to drop the official route reveal for the Money in the Drink Toronto pub crawl, as that'll take you from bar to bar to bar to the Scotiabank Arena just in time for the WWE Money in the Bank premium live event. We are going to start things off at Fran's Restaurant. Now, this is not an official part of the crawl, but if you want to grab a breakfast with us, we're going to try to be there for about 10 o'clock. They're not reserving any seats for us. It's a breakfast place and it's a Saturday, and that's understandable. So if you want to try to grab a table, please do so. Join us there. Either way, our bus is going to depart at 11:40 from Fran's Restaurant, and it's going to take us to our first spot at 12 o'clock, Sneaky D's on College Street. We've got a private room upstairs.
20 College Street, by the way.
It's not 20 College Street? Oh, yeah, they're both 20 College Street on this little... So forget what I said about being hired. This is not an ample demonstration of my powers.
It's okay. This is still good. The Sneaky D's is just down the street. It's on College, so we're most of the way there.
It is on College, in fact, indeed. So yeah, we've got a private room upstairs. They've got a stage set up, so we'll do some Master of Ceremonies nonsense. I'm told that they have absolutely legendary nachos, and I'm looking forward to enjoying those. And one thing I actually do want to mention is our contact there, Japeth, great guy. I've been having a great exchange with him. He would like to be compensated with stories about King Haku. So if you have any stories about King Haku, I'm going to introduce you to Japeth, and you're going to share it with him. That would be very appreciated.
Oh, this is going to be fun. We're gonna get some stories.
JPJ already has a really great one he's going to share. I mentioned it to the group chat over on Love Wrestling. JPJ is going to be part of the pub crawl as well, and he's got a good Haku story to share with the group.
That rules. Fun. By the way, the nachos at Sneaky D's, they are legendary. They are fantastic. They are great at any time of day or night or overnight, whether you're in a state of inebriation or total sobriety. They're fantastic. I will put those over every day of the week. Do you want to continue?
Oh yeah, let's keep going. But I do appreciate you saying so, because this is a pub crawl. Make sure your tummies are full of good food and a hearty breakfast or a hearty plate of nachos. But after Sneaky D's, we're going to leave it around 1:30. We're going to head over to Ronnie's Local on Nassau Street. Celebrated dive, awesome patio, and this has been strictly enforced upon me. And I'm going to tell every single person who buys a ticket, this is a cash only establishment. Do not try to pay with your debit or credit cards. Cash only. Be sure you have some cash on hand by the time we get to Ronnie's Local. After that, we are going to hit Jody Threat's favorite spot on this crawl, the Tiki Bar on Queen Street. This is above the legendary Bovine Club. We've got a rooftop patio, so knock on wood, we got some good weather to look forward to. And yeah, that's Joel, you put this place over pretty highly as well.
Oh my goodness. Can we talk about these? So these are some of my personal favorite places in the city. Ronnie's is in the heart of Kensington Market. If you've never been to Kensington in Toronto, it's one of the more pedestrian-friendly markets. There's a lot of really cool stuff. It's right downtown. There's artists. There's people doing literally everything down there. It's really cool. And Ronnie's is just, right tucked in the corner, one of the streets on Nassau. There's some really amazing stuff there. And yes, cash only. They are one of those type of dive bars. They want the cash only. Tiki Bar, man, the Bovine and Jody Threat, she said it in interviews with Jeremy and I before. It's one of her favorite spots. That and Sneaky D's. So we're doing Jody we're doing Jody proud by going to Sneaky's and going to the Tiki Bar. I cannot tell you how much the Tiki Bar means to me personally in the middle of the summer on the top of that Bovine. Any time of year is good, but especially in the summertime, you want to go there. It's great.
This is one thing I also do want to say, Joel, I really appreciate how much you've been open to letting me pick your brain about picking bars for this pub crawl. And funny enough, I don't know what kind of racket you have established, but only the places that you referred are the places that got back to me. So what's going on there?
Listen, shout out to my buddy Daniel Decay. He will always, he's my ride or die. He's not a wrestling guy, but he and I have known each other for a very long time, and he's connected me to a lot of these places, and I've kept the connection going. So he's with me on this. Dragged his ass out to LA to be famous, but it doesn't matter anymore.
And on top of all that, we've got one more stop at the pub crawl. Again, if you're a fan of Love Wrestling and LPW, you know this chain very well. We are going to end things at the Rec Room on 255 Bremer. It's going to be a sit-down meal to conclude the crawl. Again, one of our storied partners. That's where we run LPW events over in Edmonton. The bus is going to head to the arena at a firm time. But again, if you want to stay and you want to enjoy a few more beers, feel free to, because the Rec Room is in walking distance to the Scotiabank Arena, only about a 10-minute walk or so. And hey, if you don't have a ticket to WWE Money in the Bank, that's fine too. There's going to be people from Love Wrestling who are going to be partying there, and a few people who have actually bought a ticket to this pub crawl who don't actually have any intention on going to the PLE. So again, maybe you can enjoy Money in the Bank from the Rec Room itself, or if you're going to the PLE, hop on the bus with us. We'll go right to the arena in time for WWE Money in the Bank.
Jeremy's going to need to join you guys at the Rec Room if he comes into town, because he doesn't have his ticket yet.
I don't know. I don't know. I will definitely watch the show with. I'm trying to like scramble and put everything together. I will definitely watch the show with you guys if I don't get a ticket. If I do get a ticket, I'll sit alone by myself at WWE and watch it along with other wrestling fans.
I mean, if you get in by buying a ticket, you'll come and sit with me. But you'll just have to.
No, because you'll be part of like media.
Yeah,
stuff.
So they're just going to group us together. They're not going to do much.
Yeah, but they actually got like suites and stuff. It's not like AEW where I can like easily.
No. So whenever I've done this in Toronto or Montreal, they have put us in the seats near the hard cam. That's fine. AEW does it too, by the way. Any of the pay-per-views, they don't put you in the suites. They only do that for the US or the big shows. They do that, but no. In Canada, you're sitting with the plebs, Jeremy Lambert.
Then I might get a cheap ticket and then sit with everybody. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'm not sure I'm going yet. Quit bullying me.
Well, how about
bullied on this show by Cole Radrick on Wednesday, now bullied by Canadians. Why is everybody bullying me?
Well, we bully you because we love you and we want you to go to the pub crawl. Maybe, and listen, maybe there's a cost associated with that, and Zach can talk to us about that a little bit.
It's true. There is a fare to get onto the bus that'll take us from pub to pub to pub to Scotiabank Arena. But we want to make things, pardon me, like I said, I'm recovering from a little illness, but like we said, we want to make things as cost effective as possible, and we want to benefit the viewers of In the Weeds right here. So we've got a little promo code set up for you guys. If you enter the promo code Fightful at tixr.com/LoveWrestling on the Money in the Drink pub crawl, we're going to give you $10 off your pub crawl fare. So again, viewers, if you're going to be in Toronto, we're going to have a whole lot of fun. Again, myself, Spencer, Lawrence, JPJ, Mike, and of course, our special guest drinking buddy, Jody Threat, are going to be on the Money in the Drink pub crawl. And it's going to take us right to the front door in time for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. It's going to be so much fun. I really want as many people to be a part of this as possible. So again, use that promo code. And yeah, let's have some fun. Let's head to Toronto. Let's drink many beers. Let's watch a crazy ladder match. And let's have some fun.
And ask Jody Thread about her best friend, Lars Fredrickson.
Always sorry. About Lars.
The silence was perfect for... But I missed it. Then we're looking forward to this. It's going to be a really fun pub crawl. Come and join us. It's going to be Saturday, July the 6th. That's, of course, Money in the Bank Day. You saw all the slides. The reveal is done. Go use code Fightful on the Tixer/LoveRex. My turn now. Tixer.com/LoveWrestling. Go use the promo code Fightful. Get your $10 off ticket and join us. Why not? I'm going to hop on and off.
Yes.
I'm going to try my best. Listen,
so is Jeremy.
So is Jeremy. I just did a full week with my kid, like solo parenting. I can do this now. I can do this.
You're going to have to look out for me, Joel. The mean streets of Toronto. I don't know.
This would actually be hilarious content for us. We can even do the show together. We could do In the Weeds together. We could do it at this desk. I've got another microphone right here and a comfortable chair behind me. You can just sit behind me on this chair and just
live duo In the Weeds where we're in the same room. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, isn't that terrible? That's problematic. You can do it from the bed over there. Just put a camera over there. You can do it from the bed. Get the microphone going.
It's a perfect setup. I don't know why you haven't done it sooner.
You see, well, geographical convenience, really.
He's got a functional passport. It's not expired.
That is
true. I at least learned that much today. That my passport's not expired.
Stoner Jesus is in Kitchener. First of all, I'm sorry to hear that. Second of all, you can
Gabe Landeskog, shout out, Avs captain, Stanley Cup champion, Gabriel Landeskog, Kitchener legend.
And if you take the GO train, I think it's $10 on the weekends, so you can come to town. Come on, do it.
That's all I know about Kitchener. I don't know anything else except their Avs legend, Gabriel Landeskog, is from there or played there. I don't know. He's from Sweden, but he played for Kitchener.
Oh, for the Kitchener Rangers?
Sure.
In the Ontario Hockey League?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, listen, we'll all be at Money in the Drink. We're all going to join y'all on the 6th of July on Money in the Bank day, but we're going to spend the day with you guys. And then, of course, we're going to go watch the show. Or we're going to stay at the bar and watch it. I don't know. Whatever you do, come and join us. And then a few weeks after that, I'm going to go drag Zach to a TNA show instead.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. We're going to eat so many Bell Pro hot dogs, Joel. Like, that should be just like, we should probably earmark a whole day for that just in case.
It's just poutine. Listen, I arrive on the Friday. I leave on the Monday morning. See you there.
Beautiful.
I'll be there.
Beautiful. Well, Joel, Jeremy, thank you very much for your time. Jeremy, I'm glad we're able to depart on better terms than my last appearance here on In the Weeds. Thank you both for your time. Thank you very much for letting me talk Money in the Drink pub crawl. And I am looking forward to seeing you and your lovely viewers in Toronto in just 2 short weeks.
Come and hang out with us. We'll see Zach there. We'll see the Love Wrestling crew there. Thank you, Zach. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Zach. Go listen to some Limp Bizkit. Educate yourself.
It's just one of those days. Get out of here. Go.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, looking forward to that, man. Money in the Drink's going to be a fun show. We're gonna stay. Listen, stay for the drinking. Stay. Come for the drinking. Stay for the overrun.
I see dead people.
Just for you.
That's what we're talking about, right? Like, who cares about this wrestling stuff?
It's funny because, like, yes, and also I have a list of stuff to talk about because I don't ever want to be caught doing a show where things just kind of peter off and we're just like, so what do we want to talk about?
We always got plenty to talk about.
We do. Sometimes we have an outline and sometimes there's more to talk about than other weeks. It's true. We've had.
I never see this outline.
No, you don't. One day I will release my notes, and some dates there are no notes, but I always try to put something together. For example, my Money in the Drink stuff is right there with the promotional stuff. Last night when we had Manders, my stuff for Manders and promoting Cage of Horrors for Wrestling Revolver, that was there with all the dates and times. And now I just got, thumbnail is this. We talk about, the AEW stuff. I've got my WWE stuff, both TV and miscellaneous. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. And then, of course, Kendrick pop-outs right there.
Do you want to know the outline that we all saw on Wednesday night? The outline of Drake. Because
the chalk outline.
That man got murdered on Wednesday night. I told you, Joel. I told you on Wednesday I wasn't going to watch the wrestling. I don't know what happened on Dynamite. You're going to have to refresh my memory on this show. I have no idea what happened. I told you I was watching the Kendrick concert. That's what I did. I watched the whole concert. I didn't know a lot of the people until Tyler, the Creator, came out during Mustard's set. But I know a lot of people. But I was watching it. I was tuned in. I was ready for a big party, big celebration. And then at about... the show was supposed to end at 10 o'clock, but as concerts do, they start late and they go long. So at about 9:40 or so, they do the what do you call the intermission? Stan played by Eminem, a Millie played by Lil Wayne, and people were like, what's this mean and everything. And then the lights went down, and E40 did the intro, and then the first notes of Euphoria played. And this was just a big old celebration. Everybody on the timeline, they stopped paying attention to wrestling. I don't know what match was happening, but they just stopped watching wrestling. Like, oh, wait, Kendrick is about to come on. Real quick, shout out to Amazon. Like, that was clean production. Yeah. That was clean.
Well, so Kendrick was an EP on that, and so was Dave Free. And there were other... And there were others, of course, through Amazon. I was looking through the list of when they rolled the credits. I was like, okay, keep note. Some of these people really did a fantastic job. And Amazon, it was clean, but also this was something. It was almost minimalist in terms of how they produced the event, especially Kendrick's set. So I was watching. I'll be honest, I tuned in mostly for Kendrick's set, and I was watching Dynamite on one screen, and I would just kind of volume up and down based on what was going on. And I was watching the set, and I was like, they ain't using many cameras. It's maybe like a 4 or 5 camera setup, and it's clean. It's good. It's solid. And it's lit simply. Kendrick's wearing the red hoodie, and it's mostly red. And then, of course, you get a little bit of blue, and you get a little bit of, just white lighting. It was good. It was just solid. Everyone's talking about the camera cuts.
Yeah.
That's the only one that mattered. That was the only time when Amazon, when they went, and if Kendrick had a say in the production, which I'm sure he did. He said, when I hit that line, you do it. Do cut, get it. And they did. And that was the only time it mattered. Otherwise, it was just straight up, just good composition, good shots. It was really well produced.
I didn't have any buffering issues, anything like that. Like it was very well. It's Amazon, and like shout out to Kendrick for like okaying all this, because obviously he has a say in it. Like he got paid, of course, but he has a say of, hey, we're going to air this thing. He didn't have to air it. This could have been a thing. Hey, if you want to watch this, come to LA. That's the only way you're going to see this thing. I mean, how many concerts air live like that? I know this is a special event. This isn't like he's not doing a full tour yet or anything like that. But he could have easily been like, nope, we'll record it. Maybe we'll release it on a streaming service at a later date or something. But no, it all aired live, and it felt like a big, again, everybody watching on the timeline, it all felt like we watched as a family, just enjoying Kendrick Lamar killing Drake lyrically and maybe physically and mentally as well with everything that happened. Like it was just so much fun to just see everybody react in real time to this. And again, that doesn't happen without Amazon being like, yeah, we want to do this, or paying for the rights to it, however that worked. And Kendrick being like, yeah, this is how I want to run things. So I'm very glad that they were able to do that. And one criticism, Joel, I will have one criticism of the show.
Can't believe it. This guy's so negative. He hates Kendrick. He hates concerts.
He messed up the verse to Euphoria.
Oh no.
He messed up the I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. He messed up the first portion of it, because then it's supposed to be, we hate the bitches you fuck because they confuse themselves with real women. Notice I said we. It's not just me. I'm what the culture feeling. Man, the crowd would have gone crazy on I'm what the culture feeling line. But he did the second. That man has so much hatred. He had 2 I hate the way lines on this song, and he confused them. Drake confuses the women Drake fucks, confuse himself with real women. Kendrick confused his hatred verses. He did throw in a nice little freestyle of like, give me Pac's ring back, I might show you a little respect. I did like that. Oh, he messed up the hatred verse on Euphoria for the first line. I was so disappointed.
Now, do you think he messed it up, or do you think he maybe decided to do something different because he didn't like maybe the backlash that came from that line? He
messed that one up because he went on, because he repeated the top dog who they're playing with as soon as I get off the plane. Like he just repeated that line after that, and then he jumped into it once the beat switch happened. I think the fact that it came when it came, it kind of says to me like, yeah, he was singing or rapping the second I hate the way part during the first. It should have been the first I hate the way. He rapped the second I hate the way, because then he just repeated it. So I was very, very disappointed that, I'm what the culture feeling. All the crowd would have hit that so hard. But what can you do?
He was just super excited. He was just jacked up on this show. He was so pumped. Cyclops better than Wolverine saying, I question Joel's loyalty to the city of Toronto. He should have boycotted the concert and supported Drake. Dude, check the shorts. Jeremy found it. Louis, who's also in our chat all the time, Louis Vila, he found it. It was from October. I made my feelings known when it comes to Drake and how I felt about Drake.
Joel was ahead of the game when it came to hating Drake.
There are a lot of people in this city who were too. Don't worry, he didn't speak for all of us. That's for sure. Listen, man, I'm not a Leafs fan. I didn't grow up in Toronto, but like there are certain things that it's like, yeah, you can be proud about in Toronto. I'm proud of the diversity in Toronto. I'm proud of I'm proud of a lot of really cool stuff that goes on here and a lot of really cool like programming and events and things like that goes on here. But there's a lot of shit that I don't like about this city. There are a lot of things that I wish would change. And there are a lot of people that I wish we didn't rep that are in this city. And Drake was always one of them. So I was just a little more, I was a little more on it that day back in October when we talked about it. And then of course, Kendrick brought it to the forefront and here we are today talking about it. I'm fine with that.
That's my only criticism of the concert is I was very, you know this, Joel. I've said this on air. Euphoria is my favorite song from the whole beef. So like I was super hype when he opened with Euphoria. So for him to mess up that part, I was a little disappointed, but didn't take me out of it. The rest of the concert went off flawlessly, bringing out J-Rock, bringing out Schoolboy Q, bringing out Ab-Soul, Black Hippie Reunion. I don't know, people know, like I've seen Kendrick in concert. I went to the DNA tour. So I've seen Kendrick in concert. I've seen a lot of these people in concert because they were all part of that tour. Like I don't make it super, I guess people know now, but like Kendrick is a guy I've been following since the beginning of his career. So this felt like a big just reunion, big family. I love when he brought out YG. And of course that was during the Mustard set as well, because Drake, of course, you know who really bang a set? My guy YG. And then YG is here at the Kendrick concert being like, fuck Drake. I'm actually riding with Kendrick. So sure Drake, sure that hurt him maybe. It was so much fun. Brought out Dre.
Yeah, the main event was bringing out Dre.
Yeah.
Running a couple tunes with him. And here's the thing. So for someone like me who's just like, I'm invested in, everyone's waiting for it. Everyone's waiting for Not Like Us. Everyone's waiting for that moment. Everyone knows it's coming. When's it come? And I'm like, again, I'm keeping track of the set time. And I'm like, when I go to a concert, you know, the main event is maybe about 90 minutes. I'm like, I don't really know rap concerts. I don't know hip hop concerts. I don't know how long these things can go for, how long those sets go. And I'm like, oh, it's only been about like 45, maybe 50 minutes, right? I guess it was longer at this point, but it probably closer to an hour, but I hadn't really thought about it. And I was like, they can't be already there, because all of a sudden Dre's walking off stage and Kendrick's like, hey, Dre, you want to do the thing? And I was like, no. And he's like, all right, they got to be extra quiet for him. I'm like, no. And then he does it. He hits the line and I'm like, no. And we're off to the races. And it's the most incredible 15 minutes, longer than that shit, probably closer to half an hour of just you buried him, you dug him up, you danced him around, and you dug him up again, and then you put him back in the grave, and then you dug him up again, and then you put him back in the grave, and then you pissed on the grave, and then you danced on the grave, and then you took photos around the grave. My God. I was laughing. I was like, I ain't gonna do it a fifth time. And then the fifth time was just them walking off stage with the beat playing was just like, just chef's kiss. So stupid and so perfect. I loved it. I couldn't stop laughing. I loved it. You're back.
I was cackling when I know I froze for a second. Okay. I was cackling when he stopped it, and after the first A minor, and then brought it back around, and then A minor again, and brought it back around again.
I was like, no way they're doing a third. No way they're doing. And then, oh my God. Because the first time, listen, the first time's the exciting time. He's got to do it. And the second time, crowd's got to do it. And they did it. Third time, it's like, all right, now we're going to do the real song. Third time's a charm. And they do, and then they do the photo op. And they bring everyone. The third time they've got the girls on stage and they're all dancing. And it's just like, and it's a club tune and everyone's having a good time. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, here we go. Let's do it. And, you know, they're going to do the whole thing, a big close, pyro, ballyhoo, everyone, you know, camera spinning and everything. And then let's bring everyone up on stage. I'm like, no. no, you're not going to do, come on. And they bring everyone up on stage like it's a photo op. This is bigger than everything. It's bigger than anything. I'm emotional right now, blah, blah, blah. And then they do it again. And they got kids dancing. They got kids. They got children dancing. And I'm losing it. At this point, I'm over. I am so
Drake
tired.
was so confused at that when the kids were up there dancing.
I have the strangest boner right now. It was just the most confusing, amazing 30 minutes to watch. Oh God, that was fantastic.
I loved, like, they showed Westbrook in the crowd earlier, and he was vibing to, I don't remember what song he was shown on, but people were like, oh, they gotta get it like an ISO cam on Westbrook. Those that don't know Russell Westbrook, I'm sure you know he's a basketball player and stuff. But like I tweeted this, like the most vibing player in the history of like vibing players. Like when you see like athletes like kind of jamming to songs before a game during pregame warm up or whatever, like it's one thing. Guys might just be like nodding their head, maybe mouthing long loose. Westbrook is a total just vibe unto himself. He has videos where he's in the car and he's singing all these different songs. He's a Swiftie, by the way. Shout out to Russ, love him. Pre-game warm-up, he's always vibing, dancing, and everything. When Russ was on stage, DeMar DeRozan as well, Raptors legend, even though they traded him and then won a title. But when Russ got up on stage, I was like, oh, that just rules. Because Russ is very LA as well. He wanted to go to LA, wanted to play in LA. Then stuff happened with the Lakers. But Russ is very LA. And so when he was up on stage dancing to all of this, there were so many good tweets too. And that's like the fun thing about watching this with everybody and being able to immediately react to it on social media is like the banter and the jokes people get off. One of my favorite ones was Drake wants to be like accepted so much by like the athlete community. And here's in the NBA All-Star team up on stage dancing on his grave. Like so good. Yeah, they're doing the music video for this track this weekend, apparently. Is when they're doing the music video for Not Like Us.
Do you need, I mean, you need a music video, like you can capitalize on it, but like there's one of those moments where I'm sure someone in the room was like, do you need to do this? And like you've done everything.
They should just do, I mean, you don't need to, they should. It should just be like
too much
concert footage. That's it.
Yeah,
that's the music video.
That's it. And listen, just play it up. Just do it. I get it. That's why it's like, do you have to? But yes, you have to, because you've created an incredible monster. And I'm so, oh God, it's so funny to watch. And so to connect this just tiny bit to wrestling, as I'm watching both Dynamite and this show, it's the main event, and it's Pac and Claudio. And I see Claudio loses, and he's in the ring, and he's holding his hands in his head. And at that point, I'm like, is he just really upset that he's not able to watch the Kendrick show live? Because I would be feeling that way too. And then someone pointed out to me, Daniel Garcia, I think, was sent out at the beginning of Kendrick's set. And I was like, oh, that man's got to be just beside himself right now. That's why he didn't do the dance. He was just like, I'm going to make short work of Red Titus, going to get my ass back, and we're going to go watch this thing.
Yeah, DeMar, people are saying DeMar's from Compton. I knew DeMar was from LA because that's anytime like a player is from LA, everyone's like, oh, they're going to go to the Lakers. They're going to go back home to LA and play for the Lakers and stuff. But, you know, of course, DeMar is associated with the Raptors because that's where he had his best years and everything. But yeah, seeing him up there was hilarious as well. Russ like didn't surprise me. The fact that like Russ being there and then being into it was like the least shocking thing of all time. If you would have told me, hey, who's the one NBA player that's going to show up to this? Oh, it's Westbrook. In LA, yeah, Westbrook's showing up.
Oh man, people saying he should have played it 6 times. That would, the layers to that would have been fantastic. But I think at that point we were just kind of done with the show. But it was like we said, well produced, just a fun show, and the end was generational. And first thing I thought of, and I tweeted it out, is like, Man, Drake just canceled his Amazon Prime over this.
California, not LA. I just put LA as the state when LA's the city.
Yeah, they're in Inglewood. That's where the Kia
Yes,
Forum
Inglewood
is.
where the Kia Forum actually is.
Which, like, I've watched different types of entertainment at the Forum, like not live, but like shot and like watched, Dynamite's been at the Forum. Obviously, we've watched, we've seen wrestling at the Forum. We've now seen this show. I've seen Foo Fighters when Taylor Hawkins had passed. They did their big Taylor Hawkins special at the Forum, and I've watched a lot of that. The way that you can shoot things in the Forum is so cool just because of the way that venue is set up seating wise. So doing it in the round looked really good. Again, just a simple, long stage with the LEDs surrounding. It was good. It was simple. The pyro was only, stage deep, and you just walk around, man. Dude wearing his reading glasses with his hands in his pocket, just doing his shit. Loved it. It was good stuff.
I was waiting for Rihanna. I was waiting for Loyalty. That's a Kendrick and Rihanna track. Oh man, if she would have come out on there, it would have been amazing. Amazing. I love the jokes. People are like, if Tupac's alive, this is the time. This is the time to show up.
Yeah. Oh God. Listen, we're all expecting it. They got everything else though.
They did California Love, and I was waiting for.
They should. They could. Okay. If they had done an AI Tupac for that, or like an AI video Tupac for that, would that have been okay? Would people have been okay with that? I'm wondering.
So the wife mentioned that of like, oh, do you think they're gonna do like a hologram or an AI Tupac for this? And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think like Kendrick wants to do that. Would people have accepted it? Yeah, probably. They'd be like, okay, like, it's cool. But I don't think Kendrick actually, I don't know Kendrick Lamar, but it doesn't feel like he wanted to do anything like, because truthfully, like when they did California Love, I was waiting on Kendrick to do Pac's verse, and he didn't. They did the they did the chorus after Trey's verse, and that was it. They cut it. But yeah.
And this is the thing. People are like, not AI after what Drake did. Well, that's the whole thing. Kendrick takes it back and is like, no, this is you screwed it up. You did it wrong. This is how you do it, and you do it respectfully. Whether that's the hologram, I think hologram is a better idea. But the idea being, you basically take what Drake did, and you flip it on its head, and you tell him this is how you pay homage. This is how you show respect, not by doing it in like, this is what Pac would have said about you. No, this is us paying respect to Pac now. In on our soil, on our turf.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from.
I don't think Kendrick actually wanted to do it though.
I don't think so either. But again, show went off really well. You mentioned the good stuff. You mentioned the bad stuff because you're such a hater, generational.
I just wanted the crowd to scream. I want the culture feeling. Because they hit, what is it, the braids line? Oh, that pop was amazing. On what is it, the braids?
It was good stuff. Listen, that's what the overrun does for us.
I see dead people.
God, I'm gonna get so much use out of that. I don't know how many times I can do the intro with the Meet the Grams intro though. It perked well though. Oh man! All right. Speaking of generational hatred, you think Shane McMahon's gonna go to AEW?
No. Who cares?
What do you mean? No, not happening. Never.
The Oklahoma City Thunder.
What about
people got a weird case? They're no longer around. I can finally say this clear conscious without having to dance around the topic or anything. The Thunder traded Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso. Based God Sam Presti out here. Absolutely love it. I know you're not a basketball fan, Joel. I know. I'm sorry to talk basketball here on this show.
It must be Tuesday. Yeah. Did my week just restart? I should be on my day off. I should be running errands right now.
But let me tell you, when this trade happened, I was in the middle of a conversation with the wife, and I glanced and I saw the Woj bomb, and I was like, oh shit. And she's like, what happened? And I'm just like, Thunder made a trade. I got to call Sam. just stop the conversation with her. It's like, I gotta call my buddy Sammer. And so we talked for like half an hour or so about this. Oh, just a great, perfect trade for the Thunder, getting Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey. I don't want to be harsh on Joshua Giddey because everyone knows I was very high on Josh Giddey heading into last season. And then he was accused of sleeping with a minor. They did an investigation and nothing came of it. It seemed like she kind of lied about her age, and he was a 20-year-old idiot and didn't, they were at a club. Nothing came of it. It happened. Everyone moved on, but it was just a weird topic to dance around. And now I don't have to anymore because we got Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso, perfect fit for this team. I'm so excited for the basketball season. I wish it started tomorrow. More trades to be made for the Thunder, but I'm so excited. So excited. Let's go.
You know what's really funny?
Thunder up. What?
Whatever we just talked about for the last half hour, it's probably going to be most of Grapsity's lead in on Saturday.
Yeah.
Because Phil's a big old Bulls fan.
He is.
So and you're a big old Thunder fan. So this is going to be basically everything you're hearing now. You're going to get a similar take on, well, not similar take. You're going to get a take on it in sequential order. You know, it's going to happen. It's going to be fun. All right. You're frozen enough so I can say it. But you're back.
I'm not frozen.
You were for a second. You're back.
I feel like I was just still.
Oh, that's even worse. You gotta move in this podcast. The audio. Thank you. Let's talk. We got to talk about a little wrestling. Some people do. I know. I got a few things we got to talk about. We got to talk about Shane O'Mac bringing his quads, bringing those legs, bringing those punches to AEW. Sending text messages to his best pal Adam, being like, "Hey, do you think they want the best in the world?" And Adam being like, "Probably." He's talking to Adam Copeland. The people are just like, "Oh, he's friends with Big Show and he's friends with this guy." And he's best friends with Edge and Christian. He's texting Adam and being like, "Should I do it?" And Adam's like, "Sure, I don't give a shit." That's the conversation. But should he win the world title? Absolutely. Shane O'Mac.
I'm fine if they bring in Shane and he wins the title. That sounds fantastic to me.
Who does he beat?
What if they run back the Danielson Shane McMahon feud?
All about it. It can't be worse than the Miz feud.
Imagine the scene, everybody. Bryan Danielson, the greatest wrestler of all time, wins the AEW world title in the main event of AEW All In, Wembley Stadium. 800,000 fans in the stadium. Bryan Danielson wins. I don't know if they're playing Final Countdown, whatever music they decide to use for that event. But then it cuts. And then it's Danielson celebrating. Here comes the money. Here comes the money. Money, 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 money. Dollar, 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 dollar. Bling, bling, ching, ching. All dollars. I don't know the rest of the lyrics.
Yeah, I know. It just kind of goes out from there.
Yeah. Oh, just imagine it, though. Imagine the pop from 900,000 people in Wembley Stadium when Shane McMahon comes out. And then you've got Shane McMahon, Bryan Danielson, face-to-face, Wembley Stadium, 1 million people in the building. Oh, that's it. That's what AEW needs.
What if Shane McMahon rounds out Team AEW in Blood and Guts? Shane O'Mac wins Blood and No, Shane O'Mac costs Team AEW and joins the Elite. Are we going to do it? Can we do that?
No, why are you doing this Blood and Guts?
Because it's Shane. If there's one thing Shane wants to do, it's immediately get into a match and have a weird punch drunk something or other.
Shane McMahon punches?
Yeah, he's going to do the punches. Boom, boom, bap, 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 boom, boom. Bap,
fastest hands in wrestling, brother.
Yeah, someone saying they'll throw their devices out the window if they see Shane. Oh, could you just imagine? Just once. Just have him involved in one story, and then that's it. Listen,
I don't want him doing blood and guts. It needs to be Wembley. You saved Shane McMahon for the biggest show of all time.
Yeah, blood and guts. Live in Nashville, the Bridgestone Arena. You pop a rating.
Diamond. That's
you're already selling tickets at Wembley. You'll be fine. You'll get your 45,000. You get your 50,000. You get your 70,000. Whatever your number wants to be.
See, this is the low level thinking. You're already selling tickets for blood and guts too.
No, but we need to sell all the tickets and get all the ratings and get all the people. That's what Shane does.
Pay-per-view, brother. Pay-per-view.
Are there going to be more pay-per-view buys if Shane is not scheduled to be there? If he doesn't show up before the show? Come on.
No, but imagine the buzz you get coming off of the pay-per-view. Because what happens with AEW? They don't set up enough. This is your big. You already got the people there for the pay-per-view. You've already bought the pay-per-view. And then Shane closed the show. It's like, oh, now I got to tune in Dynamite. Now you've got something set up for the next show. It's a build, Joel.
So you're doing it the other way around. You're bringing him out on the pay-per-view. I'm starting him at TV because I want people to buy the next pay-per-view. I don't want them to find out on the pay-per-view.
The next pay-per-view is All In. They're buying that one.
No. The idea here is that he shows up at All In.
My idea, yes.
Yeah. Why would you have him show up at All In when you're not going to get more buys out of that? You want more buys out of the All In. So you bring him out.
They're already buying All In without Shane.
Are they
buying that?
What if the card isn't as strong as it could be? What if
what's Shane doing at All In? What's Shane doing at All In, though? If you introduce him at Blood and Guts, what are you doing with him at All In?
He's the special guest referee for whatever match Danielson's in, and
nobody's paying extra pay-per-view buys for Shane as a guest referee.
Well, they are if they know that the story's going to end with Shane getting physical with whoever wins, Bryan Danielson, or cost Danielson the match.
You bring him out at the end of All In. And then people are like, oh, shit, can you believe this? Can you believe what we just saw? Shane McMahon has arrived. Shane McMahon is all elite. Oh, my gosh. This is what happens.
Listen, I get it. They say over 50,000 tickets sold for this year's All In. But imagine with a little bit of Shane O'Mac dust, you can get 51,000 tickets sold for All In.
I love how we're having this real conversation of what to do with Shane McMahon and AEW.
It's the thumbnail. Clearly, you got to do it. Listen, there are certain things that I don't want to talk about because I just don't see them happening. Like the TNA stuff. We talked about that ad nauseum with NXT and TNA. The Shane O'Mac stuff is so stupid that I'm so willing to go there because I won't get any of my hopes up. Instead, the only thing I'm going to get is a good laugh because here we are fantasy booking how great Shane O'Mac's debut in AEW would be and the discourse that would come from it where listen, we would be the dogs in the burning cafe saying this is fine. And it would be fine because everyone will be complaining and whining and crying about it. And we'll be like, this rules. Yeah, dude, Shane McMahon versus John Moxley in a Texas Death Match. That whole the road to All In Texas, all those collisions, one of them has to be Shane versus Moxley going into All In. That's how you promote it. That's it. The anonymous ITW general manager is bringing up Brett and WCW being debuted as a referee and saying, "Don't do that."
Your idea's
got a good
terrible.
point. She's got a good point.
I'm over here. I got Shane confronting Bryan Danielson. Then you're setting up Shane. Oh, it's even better than I thought, Joel. You're setting up Shane and Danielson Wrestle Dream for the title. Danielson's last match as a full-time wrestler against Shane McMahon, the man who he bonded with as the general manager of SmackDown, the man who was there for his first match back as a full-time wrestler. He's now his last match as a full-time wrestler. It's all full circle. In Washington, Wrestle Dream, Shane McMahon, AEW champion. He beats Bryan Danielson.
I like it. You know what I would do instead? Someone mentioned it in the chat. Shane wins the Owen. Shane comes out. He takes out. He's the wild card. Him and Jeff Jarrett battling for the position of who was Owen's real best friend. and why they should. Sorry, it's been 25 years, okay? And then they do the match. Jarrett loses because, of course, and Shane goes all the way till he gets the match at all in. He wins the Owen. He proudly displays that title around his waist as he walks out in Wembley Stadium for his match for the World Heavyweight Championship.
No,
We're doing
I
it.
like my idea better. I don't want Shane to win the Owen. You got to protect Shane here. Shane wrestling 3 matches in 5 weeks probably ain't ending well.
He's totally protected this way. It works. Sorry, we got a super chat from Ken saying Shane versus Danielson Wrestle Dream. Here comes the money. There goes the dragon.
He sees the vision.
Oh, I see it now. It's the promotional material that always gets you going.
He sees
man.
it. See?
Does he get to take over the dragon moniker when he beats Bryan Danielson?
Yeah.
Does he become the money dragon?
He becomes the best dragon in the world.
That's why he should win the Owen. He should come in, because if there's one thing that Shane likes to do is show up in the middle of tournaments and win them somehow. That's how you do it. Shane and Mercedes should team up together.
Shane McMahon.
Here comes the Monet.
CEO dance. Just Shane O'Mac going like that.
That's how he breaks a hip. He just crumbles to the floor.
We're the best wrestler. You can't have we're the best wrestler without the best wrestler in the world.
That's right. You see, we're just making things happen here. That's what we do on the show. We make things happen. That's why this was the thumbnails, because we needed to know how Shane McMahon's AEW dream would go. It would be a fever dream, hell yeah, but the dream would culminate with a big high-level pay-per-view match. Shane McMahon versus Bryan Danielson. And you know what? For that one night only, Tony Khan will buy and resurrect Tout for a pay-per-view.
No.
They'll do it on Tout. And then he'll sell it to like some super alt-right wing bullshit company for billions of dollars so that they can air slap fight or whatever the fuck.
That he was going to buy and resurrect WCW. Oh, that's what it was.
No, we're already on part 50,000,005 of who killed it. So I think at this point, the horse has been dead, buried, and spat on. They even tried to ride it again multiple times.
Did good numbers. Who Killed WCW episode 3?
Of course it does. I don't think that the show is bad. I think that it's just an obnoxious conversation to keep rehashing. No matter how many times the creators tell you, oh no, it's from a different point of view because, you know, it's people who were in WCW. Yeah, the people from WCW that you got were also in the other documentaries and said similar things. You want to know what killed WCW? Literally everything people have already said about what killed WCW. Plus that one dude at Turner that no one really knew about, who apparently also had control of the books.
That series pops me because like The Rock pops on there. Never been associated with, was never in WCW. Won the WCW world title though, I think. Never associated with WCW otherwise. And he just curses every 5 words and it rules.
And the whole idea of The Rock is like he's the outsider. He's the guy who was with the WWF at the time, and therefore he sprinkles in what the competition was doing. And he's watching WCW and he's giving, quote, his thoughts at the time. And I'm like, no one cares. Rock wasn't watching WCW. Rock was doing his own thing. Rock was the hottest WWF superstar at the time. He was on the ascent. He was hitting Mick Foley in the chair 15 times. Sorry, Mick Foley with a chair in the head 15 times and winning the title. It is what it is. 4th episode is next Tuesday. That's going to be, apparently that's the real episode. That's the final Nitro. That's where they get the unseen satellite feed footage that the creators were like just like salivating over. Might watch that.
It's been fun just in like all these guys are Brad Siegel. This last episode.
It's not Brad Siegel not remembering. This is Brad Siegel in deposition mode.
It's everybody can't remember anything that happened bad because they bring in Russo and then Bischoff is there and Brad Siegel's like, yeah, I don't remember who I said what. Everyone's got a great memory and this is a staple of a Bischoff podcast, by the way, they all got great memories when it comes to the good stuff. And then when the bad stuff happens, like, yeah, I don't really remember anything that happened there. All the good stuff that happened, fantastic memory, shot for shot remake in their mind of what actually happened. So the bad stuff, it's like, I think this person said that, and if I recall, this person might have done that, but I don't remember it all that well. Rules. Absolutely rules. I love this nonsense.
It's 2018 Shinsuke Nakamura. Me no speak English. That's all it is. That's all you last 3 weeks ago, you spoke perfect English when you were going for a world title shot. And then you lost and you looked like a fool, and suddenly you don't speak English. This is the same old shit here.
And it's Bret Hart calling everybody a bunch of idiots and imbeciles. So it's also rules.
The best part. And of course the creators are just like, well, we want to balance everything. So you got, your Bret Hart. And it's like, we wanted to have so-and-so. Apparently they wanted Hogan. They wanted Sting. Sting never got back to them. Starting to wonder why. And then Hogan probably would have been an awful addition to the show.
No, it would have ruled though.
Oh my God, we would have been fact checking with Hulk Hogan all day long with that. Still waiting for his podcast, Jeremy.
Oh, they would have needed at least 5 episodes if Hogan was part of it.
Yeah, brother. I don't even want to talk. I don't even know. They do the whole Kevin Sullivan. They don't talk. Sorry, Talk is Jericho. They had the guys on, and they talked about the Kevin Sullivan sequestering Hogan in the room, which is a story that's been told before. Yada yada. For those who don't know, at Bash of the Beach '96, when Hogan was going to be revealed as the third man, they basically kept Hogan at his house or just away from everyone at WCW so that no one would, quote, get in his ear and tell him at the last minute, don't do it. And so that was a Sullivan decision because he was mostly dealing with the booking and stuff. And yeah, I'm just like that. The fact that had to happen is just a testament to like the beginning of the end of what should have been a slow burn end for WCW, but then they found a way to speed run the ending, by 2000. My God.
How'd they speed run the ending?
Oh, by basically fucking themselves.
by Hogan being sequestered in the room, that was all to set up Bash at the Beach, though.
Yeah. Bash at the Beach in '96. So I know. My point is that was their way. That was good. That was the beginning of good. That was the beginning of finding something new for Hogan. And then eventually with the NWO and the way that it played out, they found a way to slow burn a great thing and turn it into the worst thing because WCW never won. They never beat the NWO.
Well, that's, when it comes down to, and they talk about the Starrcade and everything, like that felt like kind of the beginning of the end for the on-screen product anyway. But then they got hot with Goldberg, and Goldberg revitalized stuff. And then they turned that into Kevin Nash rules, by the way. When he's on these type of Kevin Nash podcast is one thing. I don't give a shit about his hot takes about the business and everything. When he's retelling these stories, though, fantastic. He's retelling him beating Goldberg, and he's like, listen to the pop. I was fucking over. It pops me so much.
This man has a one-man show in him that he's just not letting out because he thinks his podcast is worth more. No, more lucrative. Also, he doesn't have to leave his house. So I understand why he doesn't podcast.
Yeah, King Potato. He says it. The way he explains it, he's just like, listen to the pop when I powerbombed him.
I was fucking over. I was over, man. But the problem is, like, Kevin Nash, he's not wrong. At the time, he was very over. Like we talked about this before when it came to the NWO and the way that Nash and Hall wanted to present it versus the way that Hogan thought it should be was like they basically just put Hogan in a room and said, all right, you dress in black and white and do your something brothers. We're going to come out and we're going to dress, we're going to wear FUBU. We're going to wear rockwear. We're going to wear whatever the hell we want. That's what the culture. And we're going to talk a certain way and we're going to be cool. And they were cool heels at a time when cool heels weren't really a big thing. And they turned it into a very popular, I guess, IP really at the end of the day. They did really great things with the NWO, but again, they didn't do the one thing that probably should happen when you have bad guys. And that is have a good guy or good guys beat you. Big Sexy is still over, by the way. I agree with Mike.
Boris, this was a
Mike. By the way, Mike, am I going to see you in Montreal when I'm here? I want to see you. He's a good pal of mine.
Kevin Nash is like, what killed the company? Finger poke of doom, or the blood missing me 18 times? Run that back to back.
Just diversion.
Because he even says like the finger poke of doom. He's like, listen to the crowd. He's always like, listen to the crowd, brother. Like it worked. The crowd was stunned silence. They were in awe of what they just witnessed. But yeah, there was never no payoff with AEW, whether it was Sting's victory, which was hollow, or then they splintered it with black and white and red and black. But the two groups never battled like they should have. Instead, they just became one. And then that was the finger poke, and it never turned into anything. No, they had no ending in mind for it. It was instead, we're just going to keep rehashing it because that is what got hot for us instead of actually ending it. Anyway, less about the bloodline. And as we're talking about WCW.
Did you see the best part? The best part about WWE this week wasn't the murders. It was the Whataburger.
Oh, yes, I did see that. Yes.
For those who haven't seen it, there's a photo that's been floating around. Apparently the White Six all celebrated their Merkings with Whataburger in Texas.
Fair.
Good for them. I would do the same.
Yeah.
You do a lot of awful things, and what do? You celebrate with the Whataburger. You're hungry after all that bloodletting.
Yeah, you need a good burger afterwards.
I'm hungry now. Let's all go get a burger after this show. And then actually the fun news was the end of Pat McAfee's show yesterday. They kind of insinuated that they did the lights turn out. And this is this has been very interesting to watch because wrestling fans are like, oh, cool. Okay. Wyatt Six, they may have shown up at the end of the McAfee show, turn off the lights and whatever. But apparently there are some people who didn't really understand what was going on.
Yeah, they sure didn't.
Some very confused people.
The right-wing activists got Pat McAfee.
Oh, yeah. That was interesting. By the way, call him what a murder. They're the deep states. The right wing, because they had a U.S. Marine on the show at the end. And I wonder how many people really knew on the show that like this was happening. Did the guests know that they were going to do this gimmick?
Clearly none of them, but
that's true.
I don't know about the guests. Maybe the guests didn't know.
Apparently he said that he released a video to Pat McAfee saying he wasn't sure what it was. That just
did McAfee do that?
According to someone in our chat, that may have been what happened.
Oh, all right. I mean, McAfee's show is in like an hour or so.
Yeah, I assume they're going to play that about 10 million times.
Yeah.
Is there anything here? Good morning, people. Nope.
Oh yeah, at the end of yesterday's
the rest of the
show,
voice saw the assumptions. Yeah. We're going to address those rumors. We gathered our generator-powered security camera footage into explain. Anyway, so they did something.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. We'll see what happens.
There's a drone. They have a drone, and it's going around, and then all of a sudden the feed cuts, and nothing else happens. Okay, great. So nothing happened. At least they're going to explain it, right?
I guess.
There's a drone.
When's this show? It shows at 1 today?
Sure.
Okay.
Listen, do you think Pat McAfee would show up to our show if he was our boss? Because our boss is showing up on other shows.
Yeah.
Can't believe that. Spends an entire week ducking us, and this is what we get.
He was on our show this week, wasn't he?
Did he do Monday? I don't think he did Monday.
I don't remember.
I don't think he's been on this week.
That well.
He's too busy having late nights, not early mornings.
Yeah. Spends
his mornings getting ready for Busted Open instead. Very upsetting. Anyway. All right. You want to talk about a little bit about Dynamite? You want to talk about the Owen? Because we did kind of talk about it. Brought it up.
Yeah, Shane McMahon's going to win, apparently.
That's true. Well, yeah, for those who haven't seen the bracket yet, let's pop that up on the screen, shall we? Got time for everything today. Got Jeff Jarrett versus Shane McMahon, best in the world. Ray Phoenix and Jay White. Claudio and Pac. We know that Claudio lost that match, so Pac moves on. Danielson and Takagi. That's happening at Forbidden Door. And so it's going to be Danielson versus Pac. And Wild card versus Jay White. And then the winner goes on to the final.
So I'd be all about Jeff Jarrett winning this thing if my love for Bryan Danielson did not overtake that.
Fair.
Otherwise, I'm all in on Jeff Jarrett winning this. I've seen a lot of people say the wild card's Hangman because that makes a lot of sense. He gets the spot thanks to the Elite. He wins the tournament so he can face Swerve at All In. He also would be part of Blood and Guts. All that makes a lot of sense. I'm less high on it because that means Bryan Danielson loses, and I think that's the dumbest idea in the world. Stop having Bryan Danielson lose.
But what about when he does lose?
Why is this bracket, though?
In what way? I'm just going to put it up again. Like, why does it look the way it is?
Where's Samoa Joe?
Okay, this is a good question. So obviously, one of the first things people talked about was why is Jeff Jarrett here? And yes, we know it's been well established before. Jeff Jarrett, Owen Hart, good friends. At the same time, this is for a world title shot. Why didn't someone like Jeff, who hasn't had a singles victory since October of 2023, why did he get a bye? Why does he just get in? Some of these people, everyone else has some sort of championship pedigree. And Jarrett's was a little strange. And just saying he's Owen's friend, get over it, does feel a little weird. Where's Samoa Joe? Good question. They've got him in a trios thing. He's got a match coming up at Forbidden Door. That's going to get announced on Collision. That's going to be confirmed. We have the report up on FightfulSelect.com, and I'm sure other people have already picked it out, but Joe's in a trios match.
Yeah.
Who else are we missing that you're immediately thinking of?
I mean, it's for a world title shot.
Yeah.
At the biggest show of the year.
Yeah.
Where's MJF? I feel he should be in this thing.
Max is another good point. That was someone that I was thinking of. Again, Max, championship pedigree, just came back, gets a big win over Roosh. He could be the wild card, but he's got a match against Hechicero that will probably get announced officially for Forbidden Door in the next week or two.
I think it's
actually
already
not two. It's going to be. Has it been announced officially?
Yeah, I think Tony already announced it.
They did a weird thing on Dynamite where they were like, they made the match. And then you had Excalibur jumping all over it and saying it's not official until Tony makes it official. So it felt like the Bucks made
Tony's
it official.
made it official. They got a graphic for it.
Okay, they got a graphic. Great. So Hechicero versus MJF. It makes sense. Again, they're on Long Island, blah, blah, blah. Daddy's home. So for him to not be part of it is a little strange as well, because he should be going after that world title.
I'll tell you what's a little strange.
On our show.
No invite for the wrestling world's biggest morning show star, Sean Ross Sapp.
Well, the other show invites you. You just show up on ours.
Yeah, they actually invite me on.
Well, why don't you just show up on their show then?
Well, they invited me, and I said, I first off, I grabbed Mark Henry by his collar like this, and I said, you better get done with my fucking segment before In the Weeds, because I don't want to compete. And then I did that thing where I kind of pushed him. I was like that.
Well, Sean,
and Thunder Rosa did one of these. She was like, oh my gosh. She was impressed. She said to me, I am very impressed with you.
They have to invite you because you're your guest on their show.
Yeah.
Your family on our show, so family can just show up whenever, and it's like, oh, okay, good.
They didn't let me eat eggs on this show.
Yeah, see,
what a bunch of cowards. See, they won't let you do the one thing that you're known for doing on morning radio.
I mean, I didn't ask them, but maybe they would have let me. I don't think it would have made for good audio, but I don't care about that with you guys.
Well, they've got really thanks for that. They've got audio and they've got a video portion to their program. Eventually, they release video.
Yeah.
Can I get a headset?
Let me see. Let's see if I can get the numbers to grow it all here. Let's see if we can. Maybe there will be a little bit.
Yeah. Are you going to tell them that we have an overrun? Would you tell them that?
I should.
Yeah.
Psst. I see dead people.
Whatever Jeremy's talking about will be heard in its completion because we have an overrun today.
As is tradition.
Yes. Yeah, 97 people watching now. Let's see here. Let me post this little tweet.
It's going to be really funny when all of our regulars just leave.
Yeah.
That's not good.
just to spite us, just because they're all trolls.
Come join and I'll give you $100.
Wait,
I'm not giving anybody any money.
I was about to say, wait, what's happening here?
Can I have $100?
No,
I'm not here.
not.
I'm at work. Give me another $100.
We should have Denise on our show, and then she can slander you here, since you were apparently slandering her on the other
They
show.
wanted me, so they asked me how to get under her skin. They think she's too professional with Mark Henry on Saturdays. So they're like, how do you get under her skin? And I was like, well, I mean, obviously the easy way, the cheap heat route is the Taylor Swift stuff, but she's kind of smartening up to that. She doesn't let that get to her. So I said that because she fancies herself as being so cool, that she really hates when people don't make references that she knows about, or they make references that she doesn't know about. Like, that really bothers her. Like the step host thing. Ooh, that bothered her. She didn't know what it was about.
Terrestrial radio. That was another one that she did not know what terrestrial radio was.
That was
really
another one.
Yeah, we talked about that at dinner at Revolution.
Maybe it's because I'm just old, but it's like something you should know about.
Yeah, she was unsure what the terrestrial radio was.
Wow.
Yeah.
But she's come so far over the last few years under your tutelage, Sean.
That's true. I'll tell you that the funny thing is that when the pandemic started, I was like, all right, she's a freelancer. I feel bad. She had a lot of her gigs canceled, and that, greatly affected her. So we did a one-night fundraiser to get her to curse on the air for the first time. And now I have to constantly say, please stop cursing on our show. Just F-bombs. That's it. Just don't say that on our show. Like, I don't even say that on our show anymore. Not for any particular reason other than we don't need to.
For
Hollywood Denise, just thinks she can curse anytime she wants.
Well, for her birthday, what you should do is get her one of those soundboards that has the censor button, and just have her write her own censor button.
I hate the censor button though. I hate the bleep.
You don't like I don't mind the bleep. I think the bleep is fine.
I don't like it at all.
Oh, come on. If you know what's going to happen, you may as well get on it. So
you've gained several viewers since I showed up. I'm
saying.
I'm going to say that I gave you a good 6-7% bump there.
Thank you.
And in true Hogan fashion, I'm going to leave before it dips below your original numbers and just claim success for the other thing. See you guys later.
Thanks, brother. Well, now it's time to ruin our own reputation at the expense of Sean Ross Sapp. We had a couple super chats before who showed up, saying Mimosa Joe trying to stop Hook from going to the PC says this is what I thought about, not that part, but I was like, Hook is allegedly at the end of his contract, and who knows what he's gonna do, and maybe this is just their way of being like, have some fun before you do whatever you're doing next. So maybe that's why Samosa Joe is out of the tournament, but he should be in it. I agree. And Speed Punk asking, where's Jay Lethal? Why is Jeff on it? Well, Jay Lethal is Jay Lethal. No comment.
Yeah, Jay Lethal being in it wouldn't be any better than Jeff Jarrett, if we're being honest. So Jeff Jarrett at least has the tie-in there. Jay Lethal loses just as much as Jeff Jarrett does, so I wouldn't have that either.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, there are certain people that I would absolutely love to see.
Will Ospreay should just be in it.
Well, I mean, could Ospreay be the wild card?
That's all people.
The problem is I assume the wild card is going to happen next week, unless they decide that the wild card is going to be the week after Forbidden Door. Can you get that?
What if the wild card is Charlie Day?
Nightman?
Yeah.
What if he comes out as Dayman?
Ooh. Dynamite Man.
Dynamite Man.
What if that's the wild card?
I think
he should win it.
Charlie Dayman?
Yeah.
Charlie Dynamite?
Dynamite Man, Charlie Day.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Is that
Him
no?
versus
But the
Jeff Jarrett? That would rule.
problem is it's not a WBD show, so you can't really do it as effectively. That would have been great though. The crossover. Oh,
Just do it anyway. Who cares?
that's fair. Remember when Rick and Morty did a thing?
Yeah, I do actually remember that.
The wild card should be Declan McMahon
That sounds awful.
coming out just cutting promos on how much he loves his granddaddy.
That sounds awful.
It does. So yeah, I mean, listen, I look at the brackets and I'm like, yeah, okay, it could be Danielson going all the way to Wembley. That's fine. I really wish that Nigel was also going all the way to All In. That felt like the match. Doing Nigel and Danielson and then having a hot feud going for the world title. What if Nigel McGuinness is the wild card? Is that?
No, I don't think Nigel wants to do a bunch of matches. Though. I think he just,
don't
if they're going to do it, it's just the Danielson match.
And that should have been, to me at least, All In.
Well, it might still be if Danielson wrongfully loses in this tournament.
So he loses to the wild card. People were saying, maybe the wild card is Hangman, and I don't hate the idea of having Hangman win the entire tournament and then go on to face Swerve, let's say, at All In, win the title from Swerve there.
Yes, I literally said that at the beginning of this conversation, Joel.
Yeah, so I'm rehashing that because we got way off topic at one point. So I'm bringing it back around. People were Jeremy Lambert, talking about Hangman. Others have also mentioned it.
Others have mentioned it, and I mentioned others mention it.
Yeah,
but yeah, Hangman being the wild card, because you got to think this tournament ends on July 10th. July 10th is the finals of this thing. Blood and Guts is 2 weeks after that. If Swerve, assuming he's still the champion, is in Blood and Guts, or if Ospreay, if he becomes the champion, is in Blood and Guts, you would think their challenger for All In would also be somewhere in that match. Because I don't know if they can. I mean, they can. I don't know if I got full trust in them to try to do two kind of storylines of like, hey, this person is kind of feuding with the Elite, but also in Blood and Guts, but also they got a title challenger at All In. So it feels like all that's got to kind of mix together instead of two separate storylines. At least it should. It should mix together is what I'm saying. Instead of two separate storylines. Hangman is the easy connection there. Hangman in the Elite. He's on Team Elite. Swerve or Ospreay is on Team AEW. They're on opposite side in Blood and Guts. Now it becomes a little trickier if Bryan Danielson rightfully wins. Are they just then both on Team AEW? And then it's like, I got to watch my back, but also I really hate the Elite, so maybe I don't have to watch my back. We can put our differences aside. We'll let All In be All In. Right now, our focus is on the Elite.
Yeah, I want to see the intertwining stories. I do. And why Solo saying the Elite suspended Hangman. They fired Kenny. And that is something that happened, but they can unsuspend Hangman. Hangman can prove his value to the Elite.
Right, and this is how you unsuspend Hangman. Like, Hangman cannot be upset any longer of, oh, they just gave me this wild card spot. They gave me Jeff Jarrett in the first round. That's a kind thing for them to do.
That's a buy.
Yeah, like, so there's easy ways to bring Hangman back, even though he was, and have him be on the side of the Elite, even though he was suspended by the Elite.
People saying it could be Ricochet. I don't know if I really like that idea, only because he'll get the big win, but he won't win the tournament. And this is kind of an issue that happens in AEW frequently is you bring them in for that big moment. They get their tournament pop or they get their big debut pop. And then after that, they get shuffled back. So what happens once Ricochet loses, let's say, to Danielson in the final? What do you do with him? That's a constant kind of frustration when it comes to debuting new talent in AEW. You put him in a big spot, and then all of a sudden, they don't have a spot much anymore. I'd rather do something like Ken's saying, right? TK unsuspends Hangman. Make it a storyline driven wild card. There's a reason why someone is doing it, and it's because they're a former world champion or they're a former international champion. If it's someone like, well, Moxley's both, but the idea being that it's going to be someone that deserves the spot, not just some debuting star that has a good couple of matches and then loses, and that's the the height of his experience.
John Mox is another guy. Why is he not in this tournament? All that dude does is win.
I know, and that's the thing with Mox is you have the match against Naito coming up at Forbidden Door, and everything kind of gets muddied again with the booking because this version of Mox right now has been more New Japan Mox than it's been AEW Mox, right? The idea of Mox and Naito, this is the IWGP Championship match. It's playing out more through through New Japan programming than it is through AEW programming. I'm sure that next week they'll bring it on home for the last Dynamite, because that's usually what they do. Is the week of, they start bringing all the New Japan talent in and they start doing some face off and things like that. And I'm sure Naito and Mox will do something. But I agree, he could be in this tournament. He could still be the wild card, but I personally think they want to keep away from that, only because they don't want to make it feel like Mox is going to lose to Naito and then just shrug it off and go into this tournament. I think they want to make the loss to Naito a little more important in a way. Does that make sense? Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, it could just be like that's the part of the working relationship, or maybe Mox was like, I want to make sure that this time when I drop it to Naito, it means something for Naito moving forward. It could easily be as easy as that, because if there's one thing Mox is going to do, it's do his best to make sure that the other guy gets over when it happens, unless it's Rocky 3.
Look, I'm sure Mox is going to do his best to put Naito over. I assume Naito's going to win at Forbidden Door. If I'm just looking strictly at this tournament and who should be involved based on their status in AEW, their victories in AEW, based on what they get if they win this, just feels like they should have bigger names, more names wanting to go after this. Look, Chris Jericho, I get it, but also Chris Jericho, this seems like a thing of like, wait, I can win this tournament, I can headline Wembley, I can challenge for the championship. It's the biggest show of the year for AEW. It's the most people for AEW. It's a world title match at that show. More people who, no offense to Phoenix, even Claudio's already lost. Like they're doing Shingo because it's a crossover, because they're doing that match at Forbidden Door. That's why Shingo.
Just like last year with Punk and Kojima. The same thing. We're just doing it again.
Right. Last year I could forgive it because it's just, you win your little belt and then whatever, or trophy, and it's whatever. Like, I'm more forgiving of these things when it's just, hey, you're just winning this. When it's something like what's on the line is on the line, more people should be, more top tier main event people should be in it, or should be upset that they are not in it.
I'm more upset about the fact that we're not wearing our funny hats. Well,
we will in July. July we will.
July we got to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't forget to get your funny hats in time for the Owen. That's the most important part. Yeah, I mean, Shingo is a name that New Japan fans will know, and so he's part of it. Why not? Shingo
just lost to Hanare.
Yeah. So there you go. Big winner, Shingo, coming in to lose Bryan Danielson. Anyway, the Owen is at a precarious time because there's enough going on with Blood and Guts, and there is Forbidden Door coming around. It's just really weird timing. And the idea here is that it all comes down to a shot at the world title at Wembley. And I largely agree with you and others who have said it. This should be a huge tournament that people all want to be a part of, but it's not available to everyone. So people like Chris Jericho should want to get in on it. I also wish that the Owen started earlier so that you can add another round to it and start using, more of the talent that want to make a name for themselves. Speedpunk sent a super chat and said, what if the wild card is Sammy Guevara? He's been off TV. Again, another guy who's been around for a while, done the things. He's been a champion. He's a guy that could come in and be the wild card, and people wouldn't really bat an eyelash at it.
I think people would bat a lot of eyelashes at that.
Let me have this one.
No,
I agree with you. I think it's almost set up that it's almost too good to not be Hangman. That it's, again, we reported on Fightful Select that there are creative talks about how to bring him back and what the plan is. And to me, this is a great way to tell that story with Hangman, is to bring him back in this tournament, have him win it, have him go all the way to All In. And it feels like if he wins, Swerve, retaining at Forbidden Door is a big deal. And it just catapults a main event. And that's a big, big main event from a storyline that started a little while back that affected both men in the eyes of characters in AEW. I like that. And again, you have the blood and guts stuff as well.
So why Will saying, I think the arbitrary nature of who gets picked for these types of matches betray the point of them sometimes. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't disagree with that. But I will, again, we talked about the women and how that's the best stuff in AEW. This women's bracket's good. Like, yeah, so I like the women's bracket.
So let's bring that up real quick because I do want to transition over to the women's bracket. Willow Nightingale, Serena Deeb, that's happening tonight on Rampage. It's already been taped, so we can remain spoilerless, I guess. Nyla Rose lost to Chris Statlander. You can pretty much deduce from what I just said earlier about what's going to go on in the semis. On the other side, you got Mariah May and Saraya, and then you've got Shida and Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna and Shida is that one outlier in that there's no feud there, but everyone else is somehow intertwined, and I really like the way that has been set up. So let's talk real quick about the women's tournament.
Sure, but Deonna and Shida make a lot of sense because Deonna won the no DQ match against Thunder Rosa. Yeah, good. Her getting in this tournament makes a lot of sense based on winning that. Shida, obviously multiple time champion. Her being there makes sense. Saraya, former champion. Okay. Mariah May is Tony Storm.
Yeah, invited her in. Yeah, brought her into the tournament. Yeah.
Yes, okay. She lost to Saraya, but you do the rematch here. I like that. Statlander makes sense. Nyla, former champion. Okay. Willow makes sense. Serena Deeb. The only person that probably should be there that isn't, but you can kind of make it understandable because she's the current champion, is Mercedes. You would think Mercedes would look at this and like, oh, wait, I can get a world title shot at All In, Wembley. Yeah, I wouldn't be in this tournament. You can kind of forgive it a little of, well, she's already the TBS champion. That's her focus right now. I'll be a little bit more forgiving on that. Everybody else, I don't have any complaints of like, this person should be in over this person. Maybe Thunder over Nyla Rose because Nyla Rose hadn't really done anything. But Thunder she did just lose. So it's a little, I kind of get that. But
I also think
and Mercedes also wants the strong title. So it makes sense. But if you want to have her be belt collector Mercedes, her also going after the world title for All In still makes sense. Again, I'm a little more forgiving on the women's side because I think they picked the right people, and the people they didn't pick, there's a more logical explanation compared to the men's side where I don't think there's really a logical explanation as to why Samoa Joe and MJF and even a Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho wouldn't want to be in that match.
Well, like you said, the women's side is more storyline driven versus the men's right now. And I'm a fan of that. The Thunder Rosa omission, again, you can go back to Deonna won. So it should have been just, if it was picking the brackets, it would have been between Deonna and Thunder Rosa. And I don't know if commentary made reference to it, but if they didn't, they could have said Thunder Rosa and Deonna, the winner is going to be, you can assume that the winner is going to be part of the Owen Hart Cup tournament, blah, blah, blah. A victory would go far in the ranking for that. So you could have told that story, but also you can kind of infer it based on who got in and who didn't, right? Deonna got in. So instead, it is what it is. Nyla, I think they made reference to the fact that she's been winning on Ring of Honor lately, which again, if you're going to make sense of it, that's fine. And it's someone for Chris to beat. So it's a big opponent because she's going to be facing off next, presumably against Willow. And if it's Chris and Willow, well, Willow is a somewhat similar build to Nyla Rose in that she is, she's larger than most competitors. So you're shadowing the idea. Not foreshadowing, but you're shadowing on the idea. And then Mariah May Saraya, everything you just said. I'm not going to rehash everything, but the idea here is that it's very storyline driven, and I appreciate that. I like that. And I hope that it tells a really good story And then Mike, my buddy, saying the wild card could be Bruce or Keith Hart. Should be Bruce Hart. Should be Bruce Hart.
Oh, I think the storyline's going to be Mariah May wins, and then we get Mariah May and Toni Storm at All In.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing. Again, the outcome is not in doubt when it comes to the women's Owen. It feels like Mariah May. I can't see anyone else winning it. I like the idea of Willow saying, I want to win it twice in a row. I want to be the winner. I want to get, I want to get that title shot. Great. But if you do Mariah May and Willow in a final, then that's a good match. It's a great match.
It's going back to the men's. That's another thing where, look, I know he's been off television. They clearly don't have any plans for him. Maybe Starks is the wild card because he won last year.
Thought about that too. Yeah.
At least Willow, again, she won last year. So it's like, all right, I'm back. I'm going to try to win this year. And of course, Chris enters. So she wants that match. And it looks like she'll get it in the semifinals unless Serena Deeb pulls off a 16-1 upset. But yeah, Ricky could be in, like, I won this thing last year. Why wouldn't I want to be in this thing again this year, especially with what's on the line? See, the men's stuff feels very, I'll use my syllable. It feels very arbitrary and thrown together based on cool matches or protecting people, where the women's actually feels like there's some thought into it and they're less worried about protecting people because they trust the actual stories that they've been telling and that they'll continue to tell moving forward. There's a big dichotomy between the two. And I think it's pretty evident when you actually look at them and when you talk about it, like we have of, hey, the women's side makes a lot of sense based on what we've seen on television, based on what's at stake. And the men's side is just, this looks nice on a graphic, but doesn't always make a whole lot of sense based on what we've seen on television and what we could do moving forward. And look, they could tie it all together. If Hangman is the wild card and they make a big story out of it, cool, fine, no issues. But that would be almost, it would be booking in reverse to Hangman's the endpoint. We just got to get to Hangman. That's it. But they're still worried about, we're still worried about a $4 word. I don't know. Dichotomy, I guess. We're still worried about protecting people. Matthew saying, why should Joe, MJF, Jericho just drop their current stories? We can't say tell stories.
What story is MJF in? He's feuding with the Latinos. He's feuding with the Mexican wrestlers.
And who says, where are they dropping stuff? They're not dropping Mariah May's story by putting her in the tournament. Here's a novel concept. Joe and Jericho in the first round of this tournament. No story is dropped. You actually advance the story.
One. That's right.
And you get two people wanting to go after the title shots at All In. Like, what are we doing here? They're not dropping anything by putting them. We literally just praise the women's side for how they're continuing to tell stories through this tournament. They can do the same thing on the men's side, but they're not.
Spinning plates. I'm looking forward to the Owen. I'm definitely looking forward to the women's Owen. Men's Owen, it's all going to be like, and this is what's funny is that the all eyes on the wild card makes the Owen not matter much. It's like Danielson for that promo that he cuts, and then on the other side, the wild card and who that will be and how that will affect Danielson's chances. Those are really the two competing stories on either side of the bracket. And it feels that there is an inevitability that those two meet in the final, because if you look at who else is on that side, it's Jeff Jarrett, and then it's Ray Phoenix and Jay White. And, Jay White's a 6-man champion. Ray Phoenix has been kind of dealing with the elite, but kind of not with Lucha Bros. Kind of not really, actually. But anyway, Ray Phoenix is Ray Phoenix. Jeff Jarrett's Jeff Jarrett. It's like we pick 3 guys and then there's a wild card, and it feels like you should be paying attention to the wild card.
It seems like it's set up for Bryan Danielson against the wild card in the end. And then that whoever the wild card is, whatever they're going to tell with that, because Danielson has said This is his kind of last stand. This is how he's going to get his title shot. This is how he's going to get to All In, is win this tournament, face whoever the champion is at All In, and win the title as during his last full-time run. And then you have the wild card, whoever that is, probably standing in his way of that. And I think they can tie it all together, and I think it can be good how they tie it all together. We've laid out scenarios where it can be Hangman, and if it's Hangman, it can be very good. Senor Nerds, look, Ricky, I don't think it's going to be Ricky. But
I do like what he's saying, though.
Yes, I agree. Like Ricky as the wild card, tying everything back around with Danielson based on their collision feud from last year, that makes a lot of sense. I think that would be good. I don't know what they're going to do. We shall see when it comes to the wild card, and then tying that in with Blood and Guts and then going into Wembley. Just talking about the bracket as it's laid out right now, I much prefer the women's side.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I want to touch on Swerve and Ospreay and their back and forth, their promo from this past week. What were your general thoughts? It was a pretty straightforward conversation, but did it sell you? Did it get you more invested in this match? You were already invested in a way, but did this do anything for you?
I like what Swerve is doing, because Swerve is not a clean-cut good guy. He's getting cheered, sure, but we know he's not a clean-cut good guy. He's still going to lengths. He's still going to lengths when it comes to defending his title and defending, what people are trying to take from him. We saw it with Gates of Agony and Brian Cage. We saw it with Christian and the stuff he still has that edge to him that got him over in the first place as a heel. So I like that he's not afraid to push those buttons when it comes to Will Ospreay. I also think it shows the desperation of Swerve. And I like that too, because he's not wrong. Like, people just think Ospreay is going to come in here, waltz in, take the title. That's going to be that. And Swerve needs a little bit something more to be like, nah, like, this guy's not just going to, I get he's the flavor of the month and everything, but he's not just going to come in here and just do me like that. Like, he's not willing to go to that. He's at it easy right now. I haven't. I've had to push these boundaries a little bit. So I like that he showed that. Did I get more invested? No. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just like, I know it's going to be a good wrestling match. I'm very curious as to what the outcome is. I do think Swerve is going to win, but I'm not any more invested in the match when these personal shots like that are kind of taken, because the way Swerve did it doesn't exactly pop me. But I do like it. If I was more of a neutral viewer, I would probably enjoy it a little bit more. So I can recognize that the flaw is in me and, again, just how I view wrestling.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call it a flaw. I think that it's a consumption thing. It's what interests you as a viewer as well, because I did see a lot of people who were fans of that promo, and I liked, I like the delivery of it. I like the acting in it. I like the way that they presented it. I don't love the content, in that I don't love it when they start doing your family as a means to get under your skin. I think we've seen a lot of that. People are now thinking, wow, this guy must hate the patriarchy. He must hate Christian Cage. But it comes down to presentation. And once in a while, we talked about last week, we really enjoyed the ending sequence of Dynamite when they did the title swap and the weight of the world on your chest. And then, of course, Swerve coming up and saying, like, we're friends. I like you. Next time you disrespect me like that, I'm going to put you in the ground. Stuff like that was really good. I liked the way that was presented. This time around, I was more like, why do we have to do the your family thing? Why do we have to do the you talk about my family, I get angry thing? Does this have, like, that to me feels like we're getting into low-hanging fruit territory, because you keep mentioning family and it's just very easy to do. And then everyone gets angry when you mention your family. I want one time, I think it'd be very funny and very interesting if they had someone say, like, oh, your family, you're a deadbeat dad, da, da, da. And then the wrestler just be like, yes. And and that's it. And they just move on, and they realize that it doesn't work for everyone. Not every single babyface should be, and not every white meat babyface.
Swerve kind of did that when Hangman was like, "You're a failure. You failed your family."
He went to the guy's house the next week.
I think the order of operations is wrong.
Whatever. Bedmath doesn't exist, and it's fake. Math is fake. 2 + 2 is 5. Point being, I don't think you need to get family into there. I didn't love it when Swerve was doing it. I didn't love that either. I don't love when you got to do going after the family. I don't love that you got to do that all the time. I think when it means something, it's good. But in it, like when they did it with Swerve and Hangman, that was fine. That was the beginning of a double turn. They knew how to get under their skin. But there's so much more that you can do with this story. And I just felt like being like, say hi to your wife and child for him. Sorry, it's not.
Wait, why'd you give Swerve an accent?
I messed it up. That's why I stopped. I thought it was Will for a second. Anyway, when you say hi to your wife and kid for me, and it's just that to me just becomes low-hanging, lazy fruit. Again, looking forward to the match. Loved what they did last week. To me, this was like we need to do that. There are other ways to get heat. And then Nana just being like the voice of reason, be like, no. We'll take care of this in the ring. Everyone should have a cup of my coffee instead.
I thought they played it off well in the fact that Ospreay didn't punch him. I do think like they lingered a little too long on the face-to-face because I think two men going forehead to forehead and just talking for too long looks stupid and silly. And I thought that it was too long of a shot. Like at that point, you probably should just punch him. Like, oh, I'm up in your face now type of thing. Like, all right, cool. Just go ahead and hit the dude in that regard. But Swerve was waiting for him and Ospreay was trying to bait him and everything. Again, it looks silly when it just goes on for too long. I thought it looked silly because it went on a little too long. But I did like that Ospreay showed the restraint of like, I see what you're trying. Not gonna work. Like, yeah, I'm angry, but I'm just angry enough to get in your face. I'm not angry enough to punch you yet. I'm saving that. They mentioned the Tiger Driver, and then they had Don Callis back there. And like they're trying with that. That's what I really have more of problems with is they're trying with that story, but like Ospreay even said it. Oh, you think you got me because I won't hit this one move. I'll just hit all the other 300 moves that I have. It's like, yeah, that's basically what you've done for the past 2 months since you stopped using it and you keep winning. Like, I don't think you're reserved at all that you won't do this move because we literally saw you against Roddy. You double underhooked, and instead of a Tiger Driver, you just did a Stormbreaker. Like, I don't think you're actually gun shy about doing this. I think you will just do a bunch of other moves. And that's why Swerve had to try to take a different route with things. Like, they tried with this, and I understand how they tried with it. I also understand like if it didn't hit for everybody because it didn't fully hit with me, but I do think it's more of it didn't fully hit with me because of how I, like you said, consume wrestling, where I understand if it did work for others and I understand if it didn't work because the family stuff, it is a tried trope with everything. I was like, let me just use this to get under your skin. Like everybody's got a family. You can always use that to get under your skin. Like try something else in that.
Marky Dark making the comment, the only problem I had was Swerve saying he had no friends with Nana being right there. Nana's not a friend.
Business associate.
Yeah. Exactly. Nana's no friend.
Weed man. You friends with your weed guy?
That's right. Well, there was that one movie. In breaking news, apparently Taylor Tooley passed away. UFC 1 legend.
No, it's unfortunate.
Yes. So there you go. There's your breaking news for the hour. Sorry, I was going to bring up the yeet and I didn't find it in time. Damn it. And now the moment's passed. Why did I do it? I feel awful. Anyway.
Psst, I see dead people.
Can always go back to that. Can always go back to that. Is there someone asked in the chat, do we think that AEW treats the women's division better than the men's? Yes, at this point in time, I think the women's division has better storytelling going on. It's more cohesive. It's more put together. And the men's there are some stories, but I think the women's division is finally at a point where we are appreciating and looking forward to the stories being told. And it's taken, the better part of 5 years, but we're at a better spot now. What do you think?
Yeah, we talked about it before, that the women's division, I'm way more interested in what they're doing with the women's division right now than the men's division. I think the men's division is a little bogged down by the title stuff. And, there's a lot of titles, and not all of them are always on television, and not all of them always have cohesive stories with what they're doing. The women's division, they've selected one, they have their champions, and then they've selected the feuds that they want to do off of the side of the titles, like Willow and Stat, which had the title, I know, when Willow was the champion, and like Deonna and Thunder Rosa, where they're just going to tell something cohesive, where these people were in the title picture, but then they moved away from the title picture and they were still involved with their own separate storylines that basically started when they were in the title picture. Like Deonna and Thunder started when Deonna was going after the title because they were teammates and they turned on each other. And then Deonna lost the title match, but she still had the thing with Thunder. Same thing. She was going after the title, but she was kind of adjacent to Deonna off of all of that. Like, I think they've done a good job with that. And Positive Finisher makes a point of like, they got to put so many men on television that things can become lost in the shuffle. Look, that's true, but I'm not going to knock them for that. They've done a good job of really selecting and identifying who they're in this. We talked about this years ago, Joel, of select 8 women who you're trying to build around. Select 8 women who you think deserve the most television time and focus on them. And that means focusing on them in a story together. And that's where I think the men's sometimes become lost, is they don't always want to pair up some of their top guys. That's what I do like about Ospreay and Swerve, is like, we have our actual 2 top guys paired up together. That's a complaint with the men's tournament, is we're so afraid. We don't want to beat Samoa Joe, so he's not going to be in the tournament. We don't want to beat MJF, so he's not going to be in the tournament. So instead, here's Claudio taking another loss. Here's Ray Phoenix or Jay White taking a loss, because it's okay if they take a loss, but we can't afford to have MJF take a loss here. They're not afraid to beat some of the women, and good. Like when Mariah May lost, people freaked out over that. Like, oh, how could Saraya beat Mariah May? What is happening? It's okay if they lose. If you have something bigger in mind, or you actually just have something in mind, doesn't necessarily have to be bigger, but if you have something in mind, it's okay.
Yeah. Anything else to add there?
No, that's why I stopped my sentence, Joel.
Oh, well, no, you froze for a second. That's why.
No, I didn't. I just stopped talking.
You did a thing, and then it was anyway. Yeah, I largely agree with you. And on top of that, the women's division doesn't get as much time as the men's, like you said, and the men's division has this issue where, for some reason, everybody has to be protected, or at least half of the men's division has to be protected, and it becomes a bit of a problem. So it's easier to do it with the women, because it doesn't feel like anyone needs to be protected or continues to look like they're being protected. Whereas it feels like with the men, you have those people, like you said, that they can't, this person can't lose or that person can't lose. It's okay to lose. We lose all the time. The show's a big old loss. But
say that.
That's fair. That's true. I like this show quite a lot, actually. But the idea is right now, I think with what they are doing with the women, finally putting the emphasis on the right places and doing more storytelling with it, I think that's a big plus. And they're starting to also give you stories that are not title based, but have title ramifications. Those things are okay. Those are the type of stories that you want. Again, go back to Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa, had title implications, and coming out of the title implications that it had, they moved it into something that inevitably kind of plays into what the Owen did and got Deonna into the tournament. So there's some good stuff going on. Again, we'll see we'll see how the Owen plays out and how Forbidden Door plays out, because that's coming out. That's that's 2 weeks from now. 10
No,
days.
it's next weekend.
Is it next weekend?
Yeah.
Ah, Christ. Everybody take a week off. Come back.
This weekend is kind of low. So it's a taped Collision.
Yep.
Oh.
Taped Rampage.
Well, Rampage is 9 times out of 10 taped.
Sometimes, though, it's all together in a 3
Yeah,
hour.
and all together when it's followed Collision. Orange Cassidy, another name, not in the men's tournament for some reason. That dude never loses. Why is he not in this tournament?
He's very confusing right now. I think he's also very confused. He's about to have his wet hot American summer.
Yeah.
White. His orange hot American summer. Sexy. Anyway, SmackDown's tonight. But before we get to that, let's talk real quick. Otis got screwed, man.
Oh.
Ilya Dragunov is replacing Chad Gable. They revealed that on Main Event this week. There's a murder, and instead of being sad and having a big Chad Gable memorial tournament, instead we're doing Ilya Dragunov takes over for Chad Gable. Kind of doesn't feel like Dragunov's going to win Money in the Bank out of this, but what were your thoughts when you saw this?
It's sure. Dragunov makes sense. I mean, sure. I don't know. I didn't really have too many thoughts about it.
Should have been Otis. That's the point. Should have been Otis. Oh, are they going to show up tonight? Are the 6 going to show up tonight on SmackDown, do you think?
It should have been Braun Breaker, honestly. Like, why is he not in these qualifying matches?
Because he's gearing up for King of the Ring next year.
Oh.
He wants his big spot in the King of the Ring that he didn't get this year.
Braun Breaker should be in like the last qualifying match, by the way. He doesn't have to lose because it's a triple threat match, so somebody else can take the pin, but like he should be part of it.
Yeah, but then he's got to go on to the fatal 4-way last chance match, and then he loses that one.
Well, they're not going to do that. That's my point.
They could.
I know this is what you believe they're going to do. I'm saying they shouldn't.
Yeah, but I think they will.
Okay.
All right. SmackDown's tonight. Are they doing anything fun on SmackDown?
Triple threat qualifying matches.
Triple threat. Oh my God. Is there anything else going on in SmackDown?
LA Knight's going to confront Logan Paul, and Cody Rhodes is going to respond to the bloodline targeting him.
And CM Punk in Chicago means we'll see Drew McIntyre, right? Drew's coming back?
Yeah, that's your call. You think Drew's going to be there?
I am booking the shows now.
Okay.
Drew McIntyre will come out. He'll beat up a lot of people, including CM Punk. And then he's going to take out the Wide Six. And that's going to be the end of the story for the Wide Six. Drew McIntyre brought the sword. Vigilante justice. And that's the end of the Wide Six. Eye for an eye. This is for Chad Gable.
They did. God, that accent. They did flash
I threw it out at the end.
They did flash the glitch screen when McIntyre was walking to the ring on Raw, and people were like, "Oh, are they targeting Drew McIntyre?" And then, of course, McIntyre left the arena, so he was not able to be targeted.
It was also Drew's segment that set up the look of Gorilla and the walkout and all that stuff that we kind of touched on, and other people have touched on as well. So maybe they are intertwined. Drew should bring the sword tonight just for protection.
So you think Drew's going to come out and interrupt Punk tonight?
I don't see a reason why he wouldn't, because they're in Phil's hometown. They're in CM Punk's hometown. Whereas CM Punk did the same thing to Drew a week ago at Clash at the Castle. It makes perfect sense to, turn about his fair play. This is all about who is the most petty wrestler between the two. King Petty, check mark. Not checkmate, because we already discussed checkmate means the game is over. We're doing a check or a check mark. Maybe it's a blue check mark because they're on SmackDown this week.
Check. It could be a check. Yeah.
Who's the queen in this whole situation?
I don't know. Adam
It's
Pearce?
Charlotte Flair. # bow down.
Poor Charlotte. She's doing well. She's recovering really well.
Doing quite well. I'm looking forward to her inevitable return. She going to be part of the Whites? Sorry.
Boy.
Do you imagine she's the evil queen? Put her in a mask.
So I think
would be fantastic.
I'm of two minds with Punk tonight. One, I think Drew should stay off television for a while. Maybe do come back at Money in the Bank, win the Money in the Bank briefcase as a last entrant. People might not like that. I think there's a story there with that, though. I also think that Drew ruining CM Punk's moment tonight of I'm cleared back in Chicago makes a lot of sense. And I said this before Clash of the Castle, and I thought this is where they should have gone at Clash of the Castle. At some point, CM Punk's gotta get egg on his face in this feud because he hasn't yet. Outside of the injury, which obviously wasn't planned, he's gotten the better of Drew at every exchange. Drew has looked silly because he's coming out there. Oh, Punk's not in the ring. He's up in the skybox. Oh, Punk has already left the arena. He's gone. Oh, Punk cost me at WrestleMania. I lost the title. Oh, Punk cost me at Clash of the Castle. I didn't win the title. CM Punk's gotten the better of Drew at every single turn in this feud. At some point, CM Punk's gotta be down a little. He's got to get knocked down a peg just a little bit in this feud. Oh, CM Punk also cost Drew in that 4-way match after WrestleMania. So there's another one. CM Punk's up like 5-0 right now. This is Drake and Kendrick all over again. Drew is just murdered out here. At some point, he's got to at least like release Family Matters. And people are like, you know what? That's not terrible. He's still getting destroyed, but okay. Family Matters wasn't bad. You know, there's a little bit of replay value to it. Because right now, he hadn't done anything. He hadn't even released push-ups at this point. He's just getting destroyed. So I do think Drew should get one over on Punk at some point. And being in Chicago, doing it in his hometown, makes some sense.
Yeah, they should tease that Punk comes out to say he's cleared. And maybe Drew beats him so bad that they say, oh, he's actually not cleared now for another X amount of time. And then you have Punk, get through Money in the Bank. And then they make the match for SummerSlam, assuming that's, the hope is that Punk is ready for SummerSlam. Someone asking, Weiss Olable's asking, is this Punk's first time back in Chicago since the return? No, they did. I think it was a Raw in Chicago when they did that. Was that the Vince McMahon talk or the
oh yeah, it might have been. Yeah.
There was a couple of those moments, but that one in particular, that was in Chicago. So this is going to be, I'm interested to see how Chicago reacts because Punk is leaning a little heelish, but also he's back home. So.
Chicago's going to give that man a hero's welcome. Are you kidding me?
I know there's a part of me that's like, well, what if one or two people are booing loudly enough by a stationary microphone?
CM Punk, Drew is going to get massive heat if he ends up showing up. Punk's going to get,
which I love.
Yeah, Punk's going to be over.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to SmackDown tonight, if nothing else, just for that segment. And of course, to set up whatever Cody's going to do with the Bloodline next. We got a super chat from Kamal Stevens going back to the Owen saying, who are these people complaining about the Owen? There are many people outside of us who are, I don't think it's complaining. It's more just asking what went into the decision to bring in, specifically on the men's side of things, to make that bracket. What was the storyline directive coming out of that? I wouldn't call it complaining. I think we're just kind of wondering how it all came about.
The Cubs.
Nice. Got him.
No, they've won a title. That would have been much funnier before like 2016. I think that's when they won. But the White Sox. Michael Jordan gambling.
Scottie Pippen, if you watched Against All Odds on TNA Plus this past weekend.
What?
Yeah, AJ Francis did a whole thing about Pippen in Chicago.
Oh, true.
God, that's how he got himself heat.
Oh, okay.
It was okay. He had his moments. It's okay.
Fair.
Anything else to plug as we kind of get ourselves out of here?
Andrew Cogliano has retired. Avalanche legend.
Best duck
Stanley
of
Cup
all
champion.
time. Best
Sure.
duck of all time. He was the Iron Duck.
Yeah. Love Cogs.
Yeah,
Andrew Cogliano. I think he's joining the Avs front office, so still involved in the hockey. Love Andrew Cogliano. He was a big part of the Stanley Cup victory, 2022 Stanley Cup champion, Colorado Avalanche. Andrew Cogliano, part of that team.
That's it.
I'm not going through a table.
We're back on
Maybe.
Monday.
Maybe.
Maybe. We'll see. Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll be back. Talk about all the things. Shane McMahon will have debuted for AEW, but no, the shows are already done. We'll talk about that. And the 6. The overrun was successful. We did it. Sorry, hold on.
Psst, I see dead people.
That's the 5th one. I had to make sure I get that in. For Jeremy Lambert, I am at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. On your way out, leave a thumbs up on the video. And of course, subscribe to us here on Fightful Overbooked. Rob and Maggie do their thing. 3 o'clock today. That's Friday. Till then, ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you in the next one. Have a great weekend. Cheers.